While being honored at the 2024 Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards held on March 7th, the Color Purple actress gets emotional while speaking about her career and wanting to protect her son Halo from social media.
There was no way in hell I was going to share the biggest joy of my world with anyone. Halo was my gift. He is the greatest blessing. And I had no obligation to expose him, me, or my family to that unyielding spotlight. Did criticisms come? Of course they did. But with the state of the world and the place it is in, with men trying to force their will on our bodies and our reproductive rights, no one on social media, and for damn sure no one on the planet, was going to tell me what to do with my body or what to share with the world.
Halle goes on to mention how, quote, some of the many women in my life inspired her decision to stay private. Do y'all remember when Prince Z, David Marley, who came from a queen named Lauryn Hill, entered the world? Do you remember how private Beyonce was about her pregnancy? We have that right. Every woman in the world has that right to choose what to do with their bodies and what to share with anyone or everyone. And the Little Mermaid star continues to keep Halo out of the public eye, posting only one pic of her son's hand on Instagram after his arrival. As fans recall, Halle welcomed her son Halo with her boyfriend DDG on January 6th. But prior to his arrival, the actress and her boyfriend denied any pregnancy rumors. In fact, back in November, Halle shut down a Snapchat user who suggested she had developed a, quote, pregnancy nose.
If I see one more person say something about my nose one more time, it's gonna be hell to pay. And you know why? 'Cause I am black. I love my nose. What is you concerned about my nose for? Leave me the hell alone.
But when the couple felt ready to share the news, the 27-year-old announced on Instagram that they had welcomed a son. Even though we're a few days into the new year, the greatest thing that 2023 could have done for me was bring me my son. Welcome to the world, my Halo. The world is desperate to know you.
Hey everyone. It's your favorite black single mom here, Samantha, the millennial introvert, and today we're going to talk about Halle Bailey and her breakup with DDG. So the social media, internet world, the whole sphere has been going wild about Halle Bailey breaking up with DDG. I don't know who broke up with who, but the breakup between the two has become public information because of DDG, and everyone's been weighing in with their unwanted, unsolicited opinions. And of course, people will say, well, if they didn't want it to be public, they shouldn't have told us. But Halle didn't tell anyone. And we're going to talk about why celebrities should tell or shouldn't tell us about their private relationships, their breakups, whatever. I personally don't think it's our business, and I just usually don't care, to be honest, who's divorcing who's breaking up with who. The only thing I would glean from that information is that, this is a lesson that I can teach others or use to discuss points that I have about things that I'm experiencing in my life or other black single moms or women in general or something along those lines. Like, I'll use it as like a lesson. But Halle just recently spoke out after this breakup that has occurred with DDG, the man she's been dating for 2 years, and they have a 9-month-old together. And I just love her. I have to say this. I wanted to show her video first to start off this video, and what she had to say about why she was so private about her pregnancy was gold. It is a woman's right to choose what she wants to do with her body, what she wants to tell people about her life. Just because you are a celebrity does not mean you owe. Just because you are a celebrity does not mean you owe everybody and their mama details about your life. And I think that's very weird that people don't understand that celebrities, when they are in the public eye, that is their 9 to 5. That is their job. Like whether they're promoting a movie or a new book that's come out, or they're doing, having events for a podcast, whatever they're doing, a movie, etc. If you see them in movies, whatever. But like when they're living their private lives that have nothing to do with their job of being an actor, actresses, singer, rapper, then that is their private life. They are off the clock, and it's not your job to be one. I feel like the paparazzi should be illegal. I feel like they have really normalized getting into people's private lives and just being nosy and doing the most to get these private moments from celebrities. And this would be one main reason why I would never, ever want to be famous. I mean, my whole life, I'm very private myself, and I just feel like my whole life is not open to anybody. So women don't owe the public anything. And I feel like that's why I could never, because I'm extremely private. And I think women and girls are conditioned to like always be overly polite and accommodating to random people. And even the fact that males run around mad that women won't submit to them just goes to show how much entitlement people have in expecting women to behave a certain way, like tone policing black women or just women in general, just always policing us, our bodies, the way we react to things. Even like if you're like, I used to see like this advice or whatever about like crying in public, crying in the office or whatever, and it's like, child, by like, stop trying to tell me how to live my life. It's really just that simple. Stop telling me how to live my life. Stop telling anybody how to live their lives. Like, it's not your life to be worried about how people are living it. And that's partly why I created my channel, because as a black single mother, I'm gonna do me. Just like Halle Bailey's doing her. Like, there are women out there in the world. It's weird we have to say this because people are the world is so upside down and ass backwards. There are people in the world that actually like children and want to give birth to children and have children and raise children and have that whole experience and be a parent. These people exist. These people exist. I know that some of you hate yourselves. You hate kids, which is why, to me, that shows self-hate, because it's weird, like, to hate children when you know you were a child once. And you all just cannot understand, out of all your hatred and selfishness, why somebody would choose to be a parent, even when they're taking a risk of being oh my gosh, single parent, the world's gonna end. Not really. And I can see how y'all are like that. So you just don't understand like why some people are like, I really want to be a mom, or I really want to be a dad. And we don't give a shit if a marriage works or a relationship works. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But guess what's going to always be there is my child. My bond with my child. My child's going to always be there. And I think it's interesting how people will use that when they want to hurt you as a parent. Like, oh, you're going to always be a parent, or you can't separate from your kid. You're going to always have your kid. Even though kids do grow up. Because, I mean, case in point, Halle Bailey and all the grown people, hopefully on the internet, have moved out of their parents' house. You're not breastfeeding on your mom's tit anymore. Your parents are not taking care of you anymore. And of course, some of these people, a lot of these people, the parents are still taking care of y'all. So that's you projecting on other people, because a lot of us have moved out years and decades ago, and we are living our best lives with our children. So that's usually how that's supposed to work in the human race, is you're supposed to evolve and give birth to your replacement, because you're going to die at some point. So because of that, it's weird, because people would be like using that when it benefits them to say how parents are going to always be parents, and they just act like we're going to always be responsible for these grown adults or whatever, when in reality, parents don't mind that. We're very well aware of that. If you're a normal parent and a healthy minded person, like, you're aware that you're going to always be protective over your child. You're always going to want to protect your child, even when you can't even legally protect your child, even when you're not legally allowed to do certain things, because now your child's a whole adult. But people like to use that excuse to be assholes to parents, to try to use it as a diss or whatever. And it's like, why are you worried about it? Like, one, don't be trying to talk about your life and blend that into my life. You know, if your parents are taking care of you and you're like 40, that's on you. But otherwise, like, why are you worried about what other people are doing with their bodies, the decisions they're making? Like, are you about to come babysit? Are you about to come pay these bills? Are you about to go buy some diapers And then secondly, children obviously do not stay babies forever, which actually as a parent really sucks. A lot of parents want their kids to be babies. Again, they love the baby part of it, and it goes by really, really fast. So pretty much like everything that people claim is a diss really isn't. So it's just annoying. So anyway, so Halle is amazing. I love why she explained why she kept her pregnancy a secret. It was really gross and weird how people were so obsessed about whether she was pregnant or not. They felt like they had that right to know. And that's what I constantly talk about too on my channel, is how people, women, the same women who are childless will say, my body, my choice, will be sitting here trying to tell single mothers what they should be doing with their bodies. It's just like the women's rights movement where they fought to go to work. They'll be talking crap about women who are choosing to stay home still. Like, it's a choice. It's a choice. And that's what I fight for in my YouTube channel. What I like to talk about, what I like to just have that conversation, get it out in the open, is choice. What women should be fighting for instead of oppressing other women is choice. So if you want people to recognize your choice to not have children, you want to have all your abortions, you want to not have kids, you want to just be childless for the rest of your life and never have children for the world or the human race or whatever, or quote unquote give a man a child, which I absolutely hate that saying. You know, that's your choice. No one cares. And of course, there are some people who are nosy busybodies who make it their business to be worried about what people are doing with their bodies as far as not having kids. I'm not one of them, and I don't know a lot of mothers who are, but I saw some people on TikTok looking completely stupid and basically giving childless people some type of ammunition to run with because they want to hate us. It's like some people just love to hate certain people or certain groups of people. That's, again, their problem to worry about, not mine. But, you know, you have those small percentage of people who are like, why aren't you having kids? And blah, blah, blah. But like majority of us don't care. Didn't even know there was a fucking movement. Didn't get two craps about a movement. Minding our business until we get pulled into some group chat or some illusionary beef that no one asked for. It's like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't care what you do with your body, and you shouldn't care what I do with mine. But yet everyone loves to judge single moms and talk about how the guy trapped us, how we are now a baby mama. And they know they're being derogatory, and that's why I choose to treat people the way they treat me. So I'm derogatory, and I use derogatory terms for them as well. So they call us baby mamas. They say that, you know, you are now lost value because you have a kid, or, you know, just pump and dump her, just use her up or whatever, and she's not wife material. Like the list of degradation and demeaning words goes like it's forever and ever and ever for women in general. And then like, oh my gosh, pretty much like America, I don't know if the whole world's like this. I don't think it is in a lot of other ways, but America pretty much, anytime a woman makes a commitment to something, it's like that's another vulnerability that we can pick at. And so people that do that, you are bullies. And so it's like, oh, we're going to use having a child as like a negative thing, when in reality, most parents don't see it as a negative thing. We do see the culture, specifically Black culture, making it a negative thing. And this isn't anything new. Like, Black culture has been acting like this for a while, and it's quite pathetic. I do blame it on, you know, racism and some of the stuff that we've had to go through. It is harder for us to be single parents. It is a reason why a lot of us are single parents, because we don't like the male counterparts because of all the crap we had to go through. And we're still dealing with that trauma. No one's ever given us any kind of free therapy anywhere. We definitely didn't get our reparations still. So we're trying to like live through that and unpack that and deal with that and still try to have some type of a life on this planet while we're here, like trying to enjoy our life to some degree, despite all the crazy that Black people have to endure in America. And I'm going to just talk about America because I don't know about what the racists are doing in other countries, and I don't care. With America, it's like we have to endure so much that you're basically trying to have a good life in spite of all the hatred and the racism and the discrimination and the sexism and all the isms, and you're just trying to enjoy your life as much as you can. And for some people, having children does that. Having children is part of that joy that they're trying to get to experience, despite the fact that we don't have reparations, that we're locked out of jobs, that we're paid less than everyone else just because of the color of our skin. so on and so forth. All the things are happening. So despite all that crazy going on, a lot of us just want to be normal people just like anyone else and have a family, and they call it a white picket fence. I used to want that, but that's no more. I actually honestly never really wanted that, but I did want the house and some of the things, part of that quote unquote American dream, but like not the whole thing. But like, on average, most people want the marriage, they want the dog, they want the kids, they want the nice house with the picket fence, etc., etc. And so that's a realization that I came to like years ago after my brain had fully developed. And I'm feeling like a lot of people's brains haven't fully developed yet. So I really, honestly, some of the stuff they talk about, we had to just take it with a grain of salt. And then others who should have had their brain fully developed are, I think, malfunctioning. So they act like so weird too. And it's like, how old are you? Like 20? It's like strange. But anyways, so one day I was going to work and I was just looking at all these other people walking into the building where I worked, and we were all of different races, different colors, different genders, different shapes and sizes, and different walks of life. Like, we have our own different things going on. But what I really gathered from that moment, for some reason, I just pull these things together. But like, what I really gathered from that moment is that people just in general want the same things. We all want a family. We want children. We want to have a good life. We want to give our children a good life. If you don't want children, you just want a good life. You just want to enjoy your life and be happy. You want to maybe meet someone you fall in love with and who loves you back and isn't abusing you. And you just be wanting simple damn things. And everybody walks around acting like everyone is so different from everyone else. And I'm like, we're all human. I mean, unless you're a psychopath or a serial killer or something, like most of us just want the normal, typical human things. You just want to be happy, and you want to, I think it's normal to want to continue the human race, because all animals want to survive and continue their species. But it's also normal, I think, to not want to have kids, because we're humans and we've seen so much trauma, and we're humans. So we're a little bit more complex than the average animal. So if you don't want to have children, that to me could be normal as well. Just like anything else that humans are doing for the most part. If it's not hurting anyone and you're just minding your business, like that to me is normal, because humans are complex. So we can form these different types of thoughts and opinions about things that I wouldn't expect the average animal to be forming. They're just a little bit more simplistic and primal and just doing what they need to do to survive. While as humans, so I know I'm getting really long-winded. Okay, so let's jump in here. So Halle Bailey is spending quality time with her son following her split from DDG. And Halle is so private. I just love this for her. I'm Halle. Like, I would be her if I was famous. Like, I can understand people wanting to do something they love to do, but you don't necessarily want that fame or attention that comes with it. You just feel like this is my calling, or this is what I'm meant to do, or I love doing it for a job. But that doesn't mean that I need to allow you into every aspect of my life, because this is what I do for a living. So they said on Friday, October 11th, the Little Mermaid star, age 24, shared a series of snaps on her Instagram. I thought it just said she was 27 years old in the video. Okay, anyways. So she shared an Instagram with her and DDG's son, Halo, which is just the cutest name, marking her first post since the rapper, age 26, announced the couple split earlier this month. Maybe they're to my DDG's age. I'm sorry. I just keep blathering about other things on the side. Okay. So to begin the carousel, the singer can be seen holding her baby boy in her arms and posing in the mirror at the gym. And in another cute picture, Bailey relaxes in a pool while Halo plays with the water near his mom's legs. "Life is beautiful," the proud mom captioned her post. And as you all noticed in the video, Halle sees Halo as her special gift. She got choked up, which shows that she's being very genuine about this. I mean, the emotion is there. This is how I saw in that moment, like, what true motherhood does to a woman who wants to be a mother and isn't having kids because the guy, quote unquote, trapped her, or because she's trying to keep a man, like, fuck all that bullshit. Like, some women are literally just, I mean, to me, it's disgusting that women say they're not going to center men and then they continue to center men. Like, the same women who say they're not going to center men, they stay centering men. If you act like a woman cannot make her own choice about whether or not she wants to give birth to a whole human, like basically cook a baby for almost a year and then give birth and totally sign up and lock in on the fact that you're committing to someone for the rest of your life, because especially at least 18 years, you have to take care of them and provide for them and protect them. But most parents who are normal, we go on to happily protect and provide and look out for our kid for the rest of their lives until we can obviously not be on this, until we're not on this earth anymore. And then we still plan on watching over them. So yeah, infinity, like we're connected to our babies. So it's really weird that these women give men so much power who claim that they are decentering men. No, honey, you're centering men. If you're treating a woman, like if she doesn't come out and say that he trapped her or whatever, then you are centering a man to assume that that is what happened in that scenario. Halle looks like a woman to me who loves her baby. I don't see her being depressed or saying DDG trapped me and I had this baby thinking I was going to get a ring and it didn't happen. Or, I don't see her until she says something like that. Then y'all can rock with it. But I see a woman who wanted to have a child, who made a decision, who kept her pregnancy private because it was something very special and near and dear to her, who wasn't having a baby to flex and say, oh, the man is mine because I'm having this baby. Like, it was always about Halle and Halo. It's always been about Halle and Halo from what I've seen. And I don't really follow celebrities, but I've seen enough, more than I would like to see, because people are so weird. They've been like stalking this woman. I'm like, that's disgusting. I cannot imagine people being that nosy and bombarding that much into my life when I don't want to be bothered. That's the one time women are the most vulnerable. Leave her alone. And I've seen some videos that are highly disturbing, how people were just stalking her and harassing her about her pregnancy with her little belly. I think one time her belly was actually out. That was freaking me out because I'm like, oh my gosh, keep the baby safe. So I'm like overprotective with my children, in the belly, out of the belly. And I just can't imagine having all these strangers around me. You don't know if they're going to hit your stomach or like what they're going to do. It's just, it's terrifying. And I know when I was out and about, because I had to be when I was like, in the army or whatever, I would have people that want to come up and touch your stomach. Like, that terrified me. Like, I don't know you from Adam. Like, you could have, I don't know what's on your hands. I don't know if you're bringing a weapon towards my stomach. Like, what the F is going on with weird people? So I cannot imagine being like a celebrity and having that many strange people around me because I have to be out promoting a movie, or just because everybody knows me, or no, absolutely. It's weird. Like, it's so weird. And I think that might be possibly like an American thing. I think Americans can be so overly intrusive. Because when I was in Europe, I felt like I definitely got way more respect and space when it came to my belly. The pregnant women who were over there, I don't even remember seeing pregnant women. You would just see babies, like little kids running around. And I only, you like notice stuff, like say like you buy a new car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. That's how I was with my belly. Like, now that I have a stomach, I was noticing like there aren't really a lot of women walking around with the belly. So because of my stomach being pregnant and with child, like, I realized there's really not a lot of women that look like me walking around in Europe. And so I feel like the women just disappear, or they're just very private and protective, and they hide out and just go home a lot or whatever. And they just get like a lot more benefits, obviously, as most of us know by now, than Americans do when it comes to maternity leave and, having children. America treats it like a death sentence. And the Americans follow suit in being very disrespectful of the fact that women are pregnant. They don't really care. Like, the daycares are awful. People are rude. They would knock you over. When in Europe, it was completely different. I mean, people would literally open up an entire line. They would ask you, can I help you with your baby, if you want them to hold the baby while you're trying to get on the plane. Like, they're just so sweet. Even the hospital stay was like way longer than it would be in America. And the longer I just compare the two, I mean, a lot of people that go over to Europe do not want to come back. Let's just put it out there. The military people just stay. They try to stay as long as they can, if not forever, because they really do realize like America's not as great as it's been advertised. And Europeans are just built different. They're just different. And after my child being in daycare in Europe, there was no way in hell I wanted my kids in daycare in America. Like, it was just such a stark difference of how Americans are versus Europeans when it comes to how we love children and care about children. And America doesn't. So it's not really surprising that people are childless and being so crass and rude and hateful about children and their parents, the people who choose to have them. And it's not surprising because it's the American way. America hates children. And that's like the first thing I realized when I came back to America with my baby in tow. He was about the same age as Halo when I returned back to America after getting out of the army. And that's the first thing I noticed was like, America does not like families. America does not like women and children. They don't care. There's no system anywhere. I mean, it was extremely obvious when you come from one country that loves children and parents and supports you, and the social aspect of it is totally like just love and support and respect and honoring. And then you move to another country that's completely opposite. And then I'm American myself. And it was weird because I come to America and come back to America and I felt like I was a fish out of water. Like I felt like I didn't even belong in my own country because it was just I hadn't been back in a long time. And it was just so different from my own values. And I was coming back as a mother. When I left, I wasn't a mom. When I came back, I was a mom. So it's like my values and everything was just different. Like I was looking around, it was just this different world that I didn't really want to be in. So that's all another story. But yeah, so to me, Halle loves Halo. She is really enjoying being a mommy, and I'm so happy for her. Bailey also shared her post to her Instagram stories where she added the song Survivor by Destiny's Child alongside her photos. And I really do think she survived DDG. I mean, he does. I think I heard when I was doing a little bit of research before I did this video, I think I heard that there was a rumor that he was talking to someone else or something. And she was shutting it down and coming out and saying like, don't believe the lies or that's not my man or whatever. And we've all been there. When you're in love, you do a lot of silly things. And then, of course, after a while, women do wake up. And I think when women become parents, or even just men and women who become parents, they tend to not take as much BS. They look at life a little bit differently because it's like I have like a little person that's depending on me to protect them. So I can't be in a dysfunctional environment it was cute before, but now that the baby's here, like we can't be fighting and throwing things and being weird, like you're cheating and all this weird bringing stuff back to me. We're not doing all that. So once you get pregnant, and especially once you have the baby, people tend to like just move different. They start to think about things differently. Life gets real really quick when you have a child. Like now you want to do everything in your power to protect this little human being. And I don't care who doesn't understand it because they don't have kids. Like that's something I don't know. It's like weird. Like you should have some capacity to have empathy and understand that little people need to be protected. But for some reason, America is missing that sensitivity chip, as Jennifer Aniston put it a long time ago about Brad Pitt. But so there's another article there's like actually 3 articles I wanted to read regarding this story because I felt like they were very crucial to what I wanted to really get my point across about Halle Bailey and her baby Halo and the DDG situation. I just think people that have been speaking out have been completely out of pocket. They're totally taking things the wrong way. They're interpreting things incorrectly. I think a lot of people are projecting their own ideologies onto this mother who doesn't. I've never seen anything that she said that's like, I want whatever you all are talking about. Like it's just been strange. And the only reason why I'm speaking out is because I've seen people talking about basically interpreting and putting their own agenda onto Halle Bailey and her baby and the DDG situation. And I already know that that's most likely not the case. And I'm actually very happy that she spoke out finally on her end. I don't blame her for being silent for a while because when you break up with somebody, like I'm the type of person I will withdraw and go within and be by myself and just processing my feelings and what I'm going through and trying to figure out like, who am I now and how do I present in life now as a mother, as a woman who is no longer with this person? Because whenever you date someone or marry somebody, especially, you become, quote unquote, as everyone calls it, one. So once you break up, separate, divorce, now you've changed, whether you like it or not, you have, and you're like this new person now. You're older. You've went through things with that relationship. You've learned new things. You have some trauma probably, because obviously if you broke up, there's something going on there. So you're a different person. And so I like to take time by myself to reacquaint myself with who Samantha is, because Samantha is definitely not the Samantha I was before I met that person. And I think, it doesn't even have to be a long relationship. People come in your life and they can change you. They can bring trauma to your life. whatever, or they could bring happiness, whatever. And you're going to be changing, whether you realize it or not, want to admit it or not. Because I was one of those people that didn't like to give people power. So I would be like, oh, I'm the same, me, da, da, da. But the reality is we do change. It could be for the better or for worse. Hopefully you learn something from it and you grow. And so, like, no matter what, you are changing. And it could be, it's really, to me, up to you, whether it be a positive or a negative thing. And I think, like, Americans are bent on making it negative if a child is involved and you didn't get married and having a male attached to you. So they twist it. They're going to always try to twist it and make it like this negative thing. But to me, Halle looks happy. She doesn't have a man cheating on her. If he was cheating on her, she ain't got to worry about a man cheating on her. Even if he wasn't cheating on her, she has what she wants. She has Halo. And some women are like that. They want the child more than the man. It's like, I know it's hard to explain, but some women want the child more than the man. Some women want a child and don't even want a man. Some women wanted the man, but he now is annoying, and she is more than happy to be away from him, but she's always wanted her child. So those are like 3 different scenarios. I know a lot of people lean more on the I would say the minority of women who had the child just for the man. Because I hear a lot of people say, you gave that man a baby, or you had his baby, whatever they call it, his baby, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I didn't have a whole human for a man. Like, you may be desperate and doing some stupid shit like that. But like, most women are having babies because they want to be a mother. So let's go into this other story really quickly. All right. So for this story here, I love going to international news. For some reason, they always have the tea. Even though we're here in America, we're very quote unquote conservative and just don't really tell the whole story. So I don't know. So Halle Bailey calls herself survivor after emotional DDG split. Halle Bailey breaks silence on DDG split after less than 2 weeks. And she has spoken out on her split from DDG after her former boyfriend of 2 years announced the big news almost 2 weeks ago. DDG is like so many males out there. They just gossip and talk way too much. Plus, for DDG, he's not a story without Halle Bailey. Secondly, his whole like claim to fame is the internet, like being on social media. Like, Halle Bailey is an actual singer, and she was discovered from YouTube, but she was discovered for her singing, and then she's an actress too. But DDG, he's not known to my knowledge for his rapping. I don't know if anyone knows his music. He's known more for doing weird shit on YouTube, and that's how people know him. So it's like he's like a gossip column. Like, if he doesn't gossip and tell all his life business as a lifestyle vlogger, then has nothing. He doesn't have content. So, and it's like, that's crazy to me too. Like, people act like black women are at the bottom and just the worst thing ever, but people can't shut up about us. And so many people are making millions of dollars off of talking about us. It's like, we're apparently something special. We have some kind of value because you guys can't shut up about us, and we bring the boys to the yard. Like, whenever people talk about us, everybody clicks on that video. Like, everyone's going to click on that ad, whatever. For better or for worse, people are always invested in black women in all of our business. So DDG is running his mouth because, Halle Bailey is his bread and butter. He's nobody if we don't talk about Halle Bailey. And like, what else is he going to talk about that we would care about, that will really make the news? Nothing. There will be nothing. So he fumbled the bag, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he, like most men do, he probably broke up, cheated on her or was mistreating her or doing something. And Halle was like, I'm done. I've had enough. And they broke up. He could have left her. She could have left him. Really don't matter. Looks like Halle's like good riddance, because after a while, like, there is a period of time where you're infatuated with somebody. They can do no wrong, but that wears on somebody over time. So after a while, you're almost happy that this person's gone. It's like a relief, okay? And that's what a lot of women talk about when they get divorced from men, is the relief that comes from no longer having to pick up his dirty drawers, cook for him, have sex schmex with him, even when you can't stand him. He's trying to touch you and do stuff after being mean to you all day. Dealing with the verbal abuse, the financial abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse. Like, the abuse is rampant. And it's crazy because we all know these things are happening. We look at the black femicide rates and the high domestic violence rates, but people will still act like women are sad that their marriages didn't work or their relationships didn't work. And it's like, you're kidding, right? I can't even say that with a straight face, because it's like, you're kidding, right? Like, I was just living in hell. So of course I'm happier with just my children. Like, it's so bad with men that life actually gets easier for women who were married or who were in long-term relationships, because men require so much. They're so needy and so clingy that once you walk away, it's like, oh, I don't have to clean up after a whole extra grown, overgrown human being. And it's really annoying too, because adults obviously don't have to listen to adults, and they typically don't listen to adults. That's why a lot of marriages fail, a lot of relationships, don't work out. But children do. Children, for the most part, listen to adults. So it's much easier talking to my children and telling them to clean up, or, working with them, doing whatever, talking with them about whatever, than an overgrown person. Plus, your children can't cheat on you, which people tend to forget about that too, because they'll wonder why, like Janae Aiko and Big Sean, why he doesn't want to marry her. It's like, because if he wants to still cheat or whatever, I mean, it's very different commitment to marry someone versus having a child with somebody. Like, you're committing to raise this child with this person. You may stay in a relationship with this person. But if you're not at a point where like, I never want to have sex with anyone ever again, or I'm going to be happy with this one person for the rest of my life, like, seriously, not where I have to rekindle things and work on it or whatever, then of course people are going to not want to marry that person, because you can almost be guaranteed that your child is going to be the love of your life for the rest of your life. Like, that's a bond, that's a relationship where that's gonna be it for me for the rest of my life. All my children or my child, that relationship is going to just be everything to me forever. You can almost guarantee that. Of course, you have those outliers where the kids are weird and unaliving parents or whatever they're doing, but majority of the times, parents and children have strong bonds well into the parents pass away, or God forbid, your child goes before you. But relationships, not so much, because like I said, the bond is different. The relationship is different. It's all different. If it was the same, they would give it the same name, and that they would call you a parent and child relationship with that. But it's completely different. So because it's different, like, you can't try to compare that commitment to a child parent commitment like that. Those are two different things. And I mean, you can compare it, but the child parent relationship will win every time, because as a parent, like, one, that's your blood, versus someone getting married in a church or a courthouse or something and coming up with some spiritual something nonsense to explain why you're with this person or whatever. That is another, that's something else. You're making make-believe. Like, everyone knows for a scientific fact this child belongs to you. That child's connected to you because you gave birth to that child, or your DNA's in that child. You could do a DNA test, etc. That's your child. And so that blood is thicker than water. Like, that blood is going to always win out. And then two, as a parent over a child, like, you have to protect that child. You have to keep that child alive. So hell yeah, that commitment's a lot bigger than to another grown person who can keep themselves alive and take care of themselves. Like, it's weird you even have to have these conversations, but people are so, like, don't like kids so much in America, and they're so obsessed with these raggedy ass relationships that I don't know how people are so obsessed with relationships and, like, cannot make a relationship work. Like, the relationships in America suck on every level, but they're like, yet everyone's, like, obsessed with them. Everyone's obsessed with this soulmate. Everyone's obsessed with the fairy tale. Everyone's obsessed with having these marriages that don't exist. It's just strange. Anyway, the Little Mermaid star, who shares her 9-month-old Halo with her ex-boyfriend, took to her Instagram to offer an inside glimpse into her life following her breakup. So here we have Halle Bailey showing herself with her baby. Of course, she's covering his little face, which I don't blame her. It looks like she's at some type of a gym, because there's, like, some gym equipment back there. Then here she is showing her body after baby. And another picture here. A picture here of her little guy in the pool with her. And a picture here of her at the studio. Looks like she's getting back into the work grind. You go, girl. So, yeah. And then, hold on one second. It says something on here, but I think she was saying, like, life is beautiful is what she put on there. So they said, posting a carousel of photos featuring her workouts with her son, the 24-year-old wrote in the caption, "Life is beautiful," adding pink heart emojis. In addition, the Color Purple actress shared similar photos to her stories, adding Destiny's Child breakup anthem Survivor, led by her mentor, Beyonce. She included the section with the lyrics, "I'm a survivor, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to work harder. I'm a survivor, I'm going to make it, I will survive, keep on surviving." Meanwhile, her sister Chloe Bailey was quick to volunteer support for Halle, As she wrote in the comments, I love you. And this comes shortly after, and this is how women are. Like, we are the village, okay? By the way, I just want to really just highlight that. Women are the village, not men. Like, they never have been, they never will be. We are the ones that will come together and build that community to make women feel safe and protected and secure again, long after men have left and did their drama and whatever they brought to your life that was a nightmare, and they're gone. They basically come in, wreak havoc, and leave. And it's the women that help you heal those wounds and grow and thrive and move forward in life. So when people wonder about, like, you know, where's the village is supposed to be the women. And that's why I do like to mention every chance I get about the women who center men as well and oppress women as well and bully women. And they think they're girls, but they're actually not, because of how they're behaving with women when they know the Black femicide rates are out of control and the DV rates are out of control. So trying to force marriage on people is not cute. Trying to force marriage to say it's for the kids is not cute. You don't care about the kids. You were just saying fuck them kids, and now you're suddenly care about kids. Child miss me with it. You're judging people. People are and nothing ever good comes out of that. Like, people are judging people and trying to basically say you're not worthy or you made all these mistakes, whatever. Mary had Jesus. She ain't had nobody. She was a single mom. Adam and Eve, they just got married by God putting them together. They didn't have no wedding. They didn't go to no courthouse. So people are now evolving and trying to make it more and more of a thing. It's become more controlling and oppressive over these centuries to what it is today. But to say that God created this, no, man created this. So yeah, let's continue. So this comes shortly after, his name is so annoying, but anyway. Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. announced their split in an Instagram story on October 3rd. I don't know why they gotta say his whole last name. His whole name is a mouthful. He wrote at the time, after much reflecting and heartfelt conversations, Halle and I have decided to go our separate ways. And I wonder if he let her know that he was about to put all her business out there, and I'm pretty sure he didn't. This decision was not easy, but we believe it's the best path forward for both of us. I cherish the time we've spent together and the love we've shared. And for the unversed, the duo started dating each other back in 2022. And there's something else they said that I think is so annoying, when they'll be like, we still love each other and we blah, 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 blah. I hate those statements. I'm like, stop it, okay? Like, for some reason now when people say it makes me think about Tiana Taylor trying to like overdo it and talk about how her and Imanshu are besties and the best of friends. And then you find out later he was a whole nightmare. Entire nightmare. That whole marriage, he was her enemy. I mean, he was dimming her light. He was calling her names. He was abusive. He was a psycho. And I'm like, and you're getting divorced and you want us to believe y'all are best friends? Like, then why not stay married? don't. I can't. All right, so let me read this last article really quickly, because you all know I don't like my videos to be very long. So this article was everything. I was loving every bit of it. I'm so happy that whoever wrote it. They said this is a story from Unbothered. But yeah, this is hilarious, because this is how I feel about the whole thing. So they said Halle Bailey and DDG have split, but was a breakup announcement necessary? And I would wager to say no. Like, I don't give a fuck what these people do with their life. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, just like they don't care about my life, they don't know me from Adam, I don't care about theirs. Like, I'm happy that Halle is happy. I love to see Black women thriving, healthy, loving their lives, whether they are mothers or choosing not to be moms, or they could be moms of their pets. Whatever life women are leading, especially Black women, I love to see us happy. So that's the only reason why I'm discussing this story, is to reiterate how happy Halle is as a single mother, and all the nonsense that I've heard people talking about around this situation is just that nonsense. Like, it just, as a single mom myself, what people have said about Halle and this breakup just doesn't resonate. Like, it doesn't click. It doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense to me. It's a complete disconnect there, from what people have gleaned from the situation versus what's really going on. It's kind of like one of those memes that you see on social media where they'll say how I think I look when I'm working out versus what I really look like. You know, it's kind of like that. Like people they're in the first box where it's like what they think is going on with Halle Bailey and how she's feeling and what's happening in this relationship versus what's really going on. And then you have Halle Bailey posting her happy photos with her baby and just being in complete bliss because hey, little Halo is healthy and thriving and growing and just chunky and cute. And she's a mommy and she just feels grateful to get to be a mom. She loves this little boy. She probably wanted to be a mother her whole life, like me. I know I did. So it's like two different things completely. It's like what you are seeing from my life versus what is really happening in my life is completely separated and totally different. And the reason why it's so important to really highlight that is because it just goes to show how people are just in people's business and it's not their business to be in people's business, especially when you're basically assuming a certain thing about people's lives that just isn't true. Like the person could come out and tell you every day, I love being a mother. And the naysayers and the idiots and the lonely people and the people who have an agenda, like they're all going to be like, no, you were trapped or he used you or da-da-da-da. No, the girl is young. It's a young girl. She fell in love like everybody does every single day. And she had a baby with him. That's it. That's all. I don't know who in the world expected Halle Bailey and DDG to go the distance when people are 100 years old getting divorced. Like people have been married 32 years, getting divorced, Judge Mathis. So stop the cap. These marriages don't last more than 7 years, y'all. They don't last more than 7 years. On average, I think it said 8 after the pandemic because people were stuck together. They didn't have a choice. So it went up a little, like 1 year. I'm pretty sure it's back to 7. But people don't even stay together after getting married. They don't stay together. And they're even older people, even people who get married a second and third time, they're even least likely. They're even less likely to go the distance. Their marriage is more likely to fail with their second marriage and a third marriage. So these are older people who have more experience and they still can't make it work. So why are we acting like these young people who are celebrities, who have a baby now in the mix, which we know babies can complicate a situation. It's a complex, it's another relationship you have to you're committing to. So it's complicated. And it's not just you and this other person. Now it's you and this other person basically parenting another human. And a lot of times people don't even agree on that. We're two different people from two different walks of life. We're probably not going to agree on how to parent the baby on every level, from like religion to discipline to like what, even down to like what you may get upset about versus what the other parent cares about. I know from when I was married, like things that my ex-husband cared about, I didn't care about, and vice versa. Like I may be big on education. He may care more about sports. I'm just saying as an example because he didn't care about sports like that. But my point is, you're two different people. So it's really hard to like raise one person, a little human. Like it's a lot of emotion there. You care a lot about this little human. There's a lot going on there. So did I ever think in my life that Halle Bailey and DDG were going to go the distance and be together forever? No, I didn't. Did I really think much about it? No, I didn't, because it's not my life and I really didn't care what they did with their lives. These people are just like everybody else in the world, living their lives. No one's getting hurt. Of course, he's probably doing some cheating or whatever. And their relationship is basically the average typical relationship, what I expected to be happening. So why people are acting like this is the time to jump in and have, really promote their agenda, I have no clue. And like I said, I actually honestly don't even like talking about celebrities, but I do it because I know that people are over invested in celebrities, for one, in their lives. And two, a lot of times I'm speaking out about it because a lot of times people just promote the wrong ideal about what's going on with that celebrity's life. No matter how much that celebrity says whatever is happening, people always twist it to fit their narrative or their agenda of their channel or whatever they're building on their brand. They want to say, oh, this is why this happened. Like Cardi B now, she's just a baby mama. Cardi B is an ex-wife, or she's getting divorced. So she's going to be an ex-wife, and she's the mother of Offset's children. She's not a baby mama. Baby mama was created for women who had children with men who never, I think, married them. So they were just like, it's just like a lot of women, like it's typically what's used if the guy has like a lot of different baby mamas, like a lot of different women. No matter how it was created, is very derogatory. And obviously it was derogatory because the people that created it for us was most likely they said it came from like a Creole thing, but the way became mainstream. It came from black men talking about black women, most likely because it's more known to be used in the African American community, because of course everything that's degenerate, we latch onto it for dear life and run with it. But of course you see other cultures using it too in a more mostly a lighthearted way. It's not, I feel like when other cultures use it, they're not being so negative about it. Like when we use it, it's like I'm just really diminishing this woman's purpose, her role in this life, even though she has the most important role ever, is to be the mother of that child. But then like when I see white people do it, or Asians or whoever, anyone else that does it that isn't black, they're more like, oh yeah, that's my baby daddy. And it's more like just fun for them. Like, oh, we're just taking something and it's kind of like a costume we can put on for a minute. And the reason why I want to go a little bit into detail about that is because African Americans really don't have room to constantly be so negative about our life. Like things that we speak negatively, like the things we keep gravitating towards or grabbing onto that's degenerate and negative. This is why we're in the state that we're in compared to other cultures, other ethnicities, other races, because we just continue to grab onto negative things and like hold on to it for dear life. And the black people that try to separate us from it, we're now, cooning, or we're Uncle Tom's, or we're a sellout, or we're trying to be like, no, I just don't want to be attached to negative things. I mean, I think normal people want to be seen in a positive light, and every other group does that except us. We're the only ones that hold on to bonnets and BS and, just fight people on it. Like, no, I am fighting to stay degenerate and be an idiot. And it's like, I give up, I just give up. So yeah. So this situation here, let's talk about it. But yeah, basically the whole baby mama thing, it can die out. Like, I'm not a baby mama. I'm someone's mother. I have the most important job ever. Like, you're not going to diminish my role as a mother, or even as ex-wife or ex-fiance or ex-girlfriend, whatever. Like, the relationship was there. It ended. Life goes on. And to me, calling a woman a baby mama is just another way to devalue her, because she doesn't have a male attached to her anymore. So women literally will put up with the most ignorant stuff to be with a man like a legion, or lesion, whichever you want to call it. And, the Risa Tisa series. And they would just do anything. And she said it herself. She was with him, putting out all his BS, all his lies, all his brokenness. He's just dusty, homosexual. She was putting up with all of that because she wanted to be a mother. And women keep centering men and making women get into that position where they feel like, I have to tolerate this crap because I don't want to be called a baby mama. You've shamed women into these dangerous relationships, these diabolical relationships, these relationships that drag them down into the dust of the depths of hell. And the blood is on your hands. Like, anything happens to those women, it's on you. If you've ever shamed a woman for being a single mother, the blood is on your hands when things happen to these women, when they're abused, when they're caught up in these bad relationships. Every time I see a woman in another domestic violence relationship say like she was a mother, because it's always like they're doing just perfectly fine, but they feel like they need to have a man. They need to have a husband. They need to have my man. So they always end up with these guys that they didn't really need to be with. You were making good money without him. Now you're taking care of him and your kids, because his ass is always broke. He's always got all these issues. He's bringing his violence with him. He's bringing his cheating with him, his lies, his STDs, whatever. And it's like, girl, like every time I watch my true crime shows, I'm just like, the women were always doing better when they weren't with my man. Time they get with this guy and attach themselves to some guy so they don't have to be single mamas or baby mamas, or just single. Like, oh, you don't want to be the lady with the cats living in a shoe. So it's like just to not have all this shame put upon them, the scarlet letter, the bullying, the demeaning of these women, to not be degraded by other women a lot of times, as well as men. But women do the job better than the men do for men, for patriarchy. So, misogyny and oppression of women do a lot better of a job than the men do. They uphold the patriarchy better than the men do a lot of times. So every time I see that and I see the woman be unalived, because the guy had no business ever being with her, but she was desperate to be in something, to say she's somebody's wife or whatever, or she's not a baby mama. Yeah, I think about all the people who shame single mothers. I think about every one of them with their big mouths, making people feel bad for getting out of an abusive marriage, for a relationship not working out, just like Halle Bailey. Because now people are like, oh, you're a baby mama now. They're calling Cardi B a baby mama. What's the point of getting married if no matter what you do, once you lose that attachment to that dude who was trash, you are now being devalued. Like, you're now being called names and being shamed and degraded when you did nothing wrong but marry a trash ass dude who was probably lying to you and didn't seem like he was trash. And even if he wasn't lying, like, the bottom line is, like, why am I being devalued? Because he's trash. He messed up the marriage. He's cheating. He's doing this. He's doing that. He left us and abandoned us. He was beating on me, so I had to leave. So why am I being called it? Like, if anything, women should be elevated for leaving, for walking away from trash and raising our children on our own and taking on that task, because it's very hard. And again, the other contradiction are people who act like it's not, but yet you don't want to have kids, and you'll list all the reasons why, because it's hard. That's the gist of it. You don't want to share your food, someone said, in the fridge, which is extremely stupid. People talking about they want to travel. People talking about they want to spend their money on themselves. People talking about they don't want to have to wake up early and worry about feeding kids or whatever their weird reasons are. And them admitting, like, you know, we have to devote our whole lives to these children who apparently never grow up. So, like, now you're just forever taking care of grown people, I guess. That's let them tell it. And so you can't say all that and then turn around and act like what we do is nothing. It's not going to be both things. We are doing the most important job on the planet. The biggest job on the planet is to be someone's parent and to raise and be completely in control and responsible for another human being's entire life. Like, you're literally having to keep another human alive every day. Every day. And that's not even wrapping in all the other stuff you're tasked to do by society. So you're supposed to protect their mental health and make sure they grow with high self-esteem and that they love the world and that they're a good human being and that they're really smart so they can go work for this country and benefit all the people who don't like kids. And it's just like, you're not going, whatever people can say and do, you're never going to diminish how important a job is being a parent, and usually being a mother, especially in America, but in other countries too, because I know that people put more pressure on mothers to be perfect than they do on fathers. Fathers get away with a whole lot of crap. If a father has to just sneeze on his own with the child, like the whole women group come out of nowhere to save the day with their capes and helping him out with the baby, like he's just this grown man who can't figure it out, but he can figure out how to cheat. But anyways, let me keep going. So they said Halle Bailey and DDG have called it quits. The breakup between Bailey and DDG sent shockwaves online and ignited a social media frenzy, thanks in large part to a statement announcing the split posted by DDG himself. Are we really surprised? I already knew he was the one that said it because he's a big mouth. After debuting their relationship at the BET Awards in June 2022, the couple became parents 1 year later with the birth of their baby boy Halo. While no relationship is perfect, the first-time parents remain somewhat drama-free throughout their nearly 2-year relationship. And it's interesting because someone had a live about like why they didn't work out, and like nobody really could explain why Halle should have chose better or something. Like, we just like, I was like, what did DDG do that was so bad? Like, we really don't, no one knows, because it probably really was nothing. But it's like people just had to paint this narrative that like, oh, Halle is stupid because she chose him and she should have chose better and he made her a baby mama. And it's like, oh, okay. Every time I hear people saying men made women into something, it's like, okay, so you center men and you're man identified and you are giving men all this power that they don't have because he didn't make her anything. She's just someone's mother and she made herself that. She chose to be a mom and she probably is the one that left his ass. So it's just, I cannot with all the weird throwing the power over. Like, you can't, it's weird because it's like you're a feminist. You probably would call yourself a feminist, but at the same time, you give men so much power. I don't think it's possible. Like, I hear women say it, And I think it could happen, but usually when you're gunning to be a wife, when you just need to have some marriage before you marry, before you carry, before you do anything in your life, you need to be married. Like, God forbid, like you need a husband attached to you. I don't consider you a feminist. You are centering men. You don't care about, you're not putting women's rights in front of a man because you are centering the man. And patriarchy and feminism, they can't go together. To me, they just clash. It's like an oxymoron. Like I'm a feminist patriarchal person. Like it doesn't make sense to me because it's like you're upholding patriarchy, but at the same time you're trying to fight for women's rights. Those two things don't go together. Why do you think there is an incel movement, a manosphere movement, a red pill movement? Because these men are trying to uphold patriarchy because women are trying to get more rights for themselves. You see how these two things don't go together? And the one thing that people keep kind of conflating the two is marriage. People cannot let go of marriage, even though you officially, honestly, you are literally trying to force people to live with their oppressor. It's kind of like being in an interracial relationship. Yes, they happen, and I don't have any problem with them happening, but it's kind of like if people were trying to force you to be with white people. Like you're a black person, and they're like, why are you having kids without marrying white? Like you can always compare misogyny and patriarchy to racism. Always. Sexism, you can always compare it to racism. Always. Probably any oppressive system like people, what is it called? The homophobia, any kind of oppressive system that's going on to marginalize people, you can compare it to racism because it's like the same ideology. It's the same systems that keep these things in place to oppress other people. So if you are sitting here upholding marriage, that whole situation was created to benefit men and to allow men to lord over women, and we are their property. And people know this, and they still run their mouths and talk about it. Like, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. Do not try to force that crap on other people. It's kind of like religion. If you want to be a Christian, more power to you. You don't need to try to force that on others. And of course, they would say, oh, you're supposed to be an evangelist and go and tell the people about the Lord. Yeah, you can tell people about the Bible or religion or whatever. If they don't know about it, they may want to sign up, whatever. But to try to force it on people and condemn people because they say, I'm not, I'm spiritual. I don't want to be religious. I don't do all that. I don't rock with that. Or if they say, I don't hate men, but I don't want to be married. I just, I'll be okay if I'm single for the rest of my life, or if I have a life partner, I'm good with that. Or I may not even be straight. I'm now gay and I'm being a lesbian. Choices. You don't get to tell people how to live their lives. And when you start trying to bark orders and tell people how to live their lives, now you are oppressing people and you are having internal misogyny. You are upholding patriarchy as well, just like a black person who overly buys into white supremacy. You are now a white supremacist sympathizer. You're sitting here you're upholding white supremacy as well, even though you're a black person. It's possible. It does happen every single day. It happens. And so a lot of women are basically, misogynist as well. The way their talking points are and how they oppress other women with the way they talk, it's like the men don't have to do anything because you're doing the job for them. Just like white people don't have to do anything because a lot of black people are doing a job for them. The job of racism, a lot of black people are doing it for them. So they don't have to say a word because there's a lot of black people perfectly, wonderfully upholding white supremacy all by themselves. And so, yeah, Billy and Sarah don't have to even open their mouth or do much of any kind of work anymore to keep black people in their place and keep racism alive and well, because there's a lot of black people doing that just all by themselves. So they're saying that this relationship really didn't have any drama. I didn't hear anything about it. So like I said, when they didn't work, I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't know much about them. I don't follow people, but I always tell people, because I've realized, if I've heard about it, then it's something, because usually I don't follow anyone. So if I hear about it, it's news, and that's why I'm hearing about it. And I really only heard about maybe this Ruby Rose thing that happened in 2023. That was it. So the most I heard with Halle Bailey was people like crying because she wanted to keep her pregnancy to herself. And I'm like, this is giving stalker vibes. But yeah. So in 2023, the pair cleared up initial breakup rumors after DDG's ex, Ruby Rose, exposed screenshots of him contacting her. It's rare for Bailey to speak on fan speculations, and I think she's taking a page out of Beyonce's book, and I'm here for it. In a now deleted post, Bailey shut down the gossip by telling fans not to quote unquote feed into the lies, especially from a third party. After DDG and Bailey's unexpected breakup and the publicity DDG has attracted to it, it begs the question, to what extent do celebrities owe their fans transparency about personal matters? While the reasons for their split remain private, the news has sparked conversations about the delicate balance between celebrity privacy and public expectations and the role of social media in modern relationships. In an age where social media has blurred the lines between personal and public life, fans often feel entitled to know intimate details about their favorite celebrities. But it is important to remember that celebrities are also individuals who deserve their privacy, especially when it comes to sensitive matters like relationship breakdowns. While platforms like Instagram and Twitter can be a way to connect with fans and share personal moments, they can also create a sense of pressure to maintain a perfect image, which is so unrealistic. And yeah. This pressure can make it difficult for couples to navigate challenges privately, leading to public breakups that can be both painful and messy. I love this. I love this quote. They said, since last week, TDG has been on a breakup press tour that no one asked for. Seriously, take us out of the group chat, please. Oh, I live for this quote. I am living for that quote. That's too funny. There's so many times we're in a group chat and I'm like, why are we talking about this again? So although there's no clear answer to whether celebrities owe their followers breakup statements, I'm a firm believer that fans shouldn't be entitled to know every intimate detail of a person's life. I agree. Like if they want to tell you, that's what they want to do. But yeah, if they don't say anything about it and people find out they broke up, that's just what it is. Like, oh, they broke up? Yeah, they broke up. Next. So celebrity or not, boundaries need to be established, and DDG appears to be doing the complete opposite. Since last week, DDG has been on a breakup press tour that no one asked for. Seriously, take us out of the group chat, please. Because like I said, for DDG, his life is his content. Like no one would know him otherwise if he didn't mention Halle Bailey and attach himself to her somehow. So. And this is how it is for me, for like a lot of men. I don't even know these celebrity men if it wasn't for the women counted, like the women they're with. Like I just wouldn't, because I support women more. So it's like a lot of times I'm like, oh, okay, she's married to that basketball player or something. I don't watch basketball. So on October 3rd, DDG took to Instagram to share the news of their breakup. After much reflection and heartfelt conversation, Halle and I have decided to go our separate ways, he shared on his Instagram stories. This decision was not easy, but we believe it's the best path forward for both of us. After DDG made the announcement, fans were skeptical to believe the She Don't Play rapper. After all, he does have a history of trolling fans on the internet, which makes his credibility questionable. Let's see here. Okay, this video. Hold on one second. So he continued, despite the changes in our relationship, our love for each other remains deep and true. We are still best friends. I hate when people say this. It's so fake. We are still best friends and adore each other. If you adore each other, you'd be together. Let's just keep it a buck. Like, why have a child and like have all that and be like, but we're not together? Like, that doesn't make any sense. He's continuing on to say, as we focus on our individual journeys and our roles as co-parents, we cherish the bond we built and the beautiful moments we shared. As we navigate this transition, we ask for your understanding and support. And I wanted to say too, like these relationships, again, like it's not our business. And I do feel like people could come back together, especially when you have children. It's next, look at like Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, for instance. Like a lot of people will be forever in each other's lives now because they share children. And I think a lot of people can't stand that, especially like people who don't have children cannot stand the bond of like the co-parents have, but it's like the children bond bring us together, and so we have to be together for like certain events, birthdays, graduations, whatever. And yes, you can have your own separate thing as well, but a lot of times people just come together, especially if you're single or if your significant other isn't overly insecure about it. you can bring people together, and you can be with that co-parent and having, events for the child, because it's about the child and not the grown people. That this child did not, the child didn't ask to be in that situation. So it's like a lot of adults just get over yourselves, but people can't do that. So they just hate on co-parents. But I feel like they could possibly get back together later, or grow and end up married 10 years from now or something and have another kid. I mean, you just never know. And it's really not our business to worry about it, because we have our own lives to live. So the carefully worded statement released by DDG following his breakup with Bailey is a strategic approach common in celebrity relationships. Exactly. It's important to keep in mind 2 reasons that prompt celebrities to release breakup statements. By getting ahead of the story, celebrities can often avoid the negative consequences of a messy public breakup, even though it's still always messy, because people always speculate and run with it, because they never give enough details. And the men are not going to come out and say, I cheated on my wife, so now we're getting a divorce. They never tell the whole story. They always say some canned, goofy ass statement like Tiana Taylor did with Iman Shumpert. And then when the public paperwork comes out from the courts, when they file for divorce, now it's like, oh, okay, so he was cheating, he was beating, he was doing this, he was doing that. And that's when it gets messy. So whether they tell you or not, it comes out. So to me personally, I would, like, a lot of times people could break up, you don't even know they broke up. Like, especially celebrities who stay out of the public eye. They could have been divorced or separated for years and you wouldn't know it. Like, that would be my life if I was a celebrity. You wouldn't know anything about my life. So they said some of the messy public breakup consequences that are negative could be tabloid drama or unwanted media attention, which they're getting anyway, because now people know they've broken up, so everyone's in their business. Not to mention, releasing a statement can help to eliminate fan speculation and prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. We saw the latter for Victoria Monet and her ex-boyfriend John Gaines. In a joint statement, the two announced that they were no longer together at the end of September. I like when it's a joint statement. Like, don't just come out running your mouth and now I have to, like, clean up, because maybe I wasn't ready to, like, tell people our business or whatever. I was still processing it. Their hands were basically forced to clarify why they broke up, as infidelity rumors and false accusations of their origin story ran rampant online. Although Monet and Gaines didn't pinpoint what exactly led to their split, which they never do, they cleared up fan speculations by emphasizing in their message that there was no fidelity, toxic behavior, nor drama, which there probably was, because why else do people break up? The same goes for ex-lovers Stormzy and Maya Jama. In July, the two released a statement about their uncoupling for the sake of clarity, or quote unquote, for the sake of clarity, after having an on and off relationship since 2014. I do not know who those people are. It seems there is I don't know who John Gaines is either, but anyways, it seems that there's an art to creating a breakup post with fans typically receiving a joint statement where both parties upload the same message on their individual pages. But with Bailey's decision to remain silent following DDG's breakup announcement, it is a huge contrast to his public outpouring of emotions. While DDG has been actively talking about the split on his podcast, Bailey has chosen to maintain a low profile, mirroring the approach of her mentor, Beyonce. And I love this for her. It's a common courtesy for ex-partners to avoid discussing their relationship publicly after a breakup, but DDG has seemingly ignored this unwritten rule. Yeah, the men's love to gossip. That's another unspoken rule that's happening there. Like, men being jealous of their partners. Like, people don't talk about the men's and how they really are, or like white women and how they really are. Like, people just don't. They pretend like these groups of people aren't doing these things, but they are. And that's another, like, whole mind fuck, because you're like thinking like it's just you who's feeling a certain way, but it's like, no, it's not you. They're doing weird shit too. So this silence is likely a conscious choice on Bailey's part, similar to her decision to keep her pregnancy private into the birth of her son Halo. It seems very on brand for Bailey not to share her business online, and I don't blame her. Like, why? Her silence may be a way of respecting the privacy of her relationship and protecting her emotional well-being, whereas DDG's decision to discuss the breakup publicly may be driven by a desire to connect with his fans or create his own narrative. I would say it's more of the latter, but yeah, of the two. Again, what happens following a breakup is a critical component, and DDG is dropping the ball for how he's choosing to handle the situation. And that's one thing I have heard people say was a complaint for him, was he likes to disclose too much information. Like, they say, like, he shows their baby too much. And Halle really didn't want the baby shown that much. And Like I said, that's things like that. That is what couples, married couples or just unmarried, whatever, deal with once you have a child. It's like, your ideal of how to raise this child is very different from mine. She doesn't seem to want her child in the limelight, or the spotlight, and I wouldn't want my child in the spotlight either. And DDG is perfectly okay, making his child into content. So they said some fans find it humorous and appreciate his openness, while others seem quite annoyed and believe his continued conversations about this player are unnecessary. I think they're unnecessary and rude. Like, it's like, respect her privacy. You're part of this relationship and you can't even respect her privacy, the mother of your child. So, especially as he continues without hesitation to open up about the decision to separate on his No Ordinary podcast. During a recent episode, he reflected on his dating experience and explained how a relationship can impact a person's growth. Yeah, I heard that video and it was awful. But he continued by offering advice that he would have given his 22-year-old self on not committing to a relationship, as he compared it to having a part-time job because of the time and effort required. So, side note, I wish people would stop talking about relationships. We're very bad at it. Americans suck at relationships. I can only speak for us because I don't know the people's cultures like that. We suck at relationships, like suck at them. We suck at marriage. We suck at relationships. I wish we stopped talking so much about them, giving so much quote unquote unsolicited advice about them, thinking that we are imparting some wisdom to people that nobody wants. I just wish we stopped talking about them. It's like that's all people want to talk about, and our relationships are trash. The marriages are trash. It's strange. It's kind of like how black men are always obsessively talking about black women, but our relationships don't work. Like, we don't seem to like each other at all. The black femicide rates are very high because of black men. We're dying at the hands of our black male partners more than anyone else. And it's like weird. It's almost like, again, part of the upside down plays in the Twilight Zone, because it's like we're just talking about things that aren't positive. Like, America's obsessed with negativity. And it's like it's almost like the thing we always concentrate on the most is always negative, or we're making it negative. Like, it's just weird. We always want to talk about all the relationship problems, the problems with, why aren't people together? Why won't people do this? What about 50-50? Blah, 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 blah. You're beating a dead horse at this point. The horse is dead. You're still beating it. It's ridiculous. Like, how many times are we going to talk about relationships that, like, no one's good at them? Nobody really wants them. I personally feel that nobody wants these relationships, because if we did, we'd be in them and we'd be doing a good job in these relationships. Like, we don't want them with each other. I'm not saying people don't want relationships. They probably do. But we don't want them with each other. So why are we talking about each other? Why are we talking about relationships? Do you really even want to be with women? Do you even like women? Because guys talk about relationships seems like more than women do, and they're the worst at them. It reminds me of something else. It's like, just make it make sense. Like, it's just like, if those who can't teach, like, you're just talking. You can't do it yourself, so you're going to talk about it forever. It's dumb and weird. Like this DDG guy about no one cares what your 22-year-old self is. We don't care. We don't care. You're in a relationship for 2 years. Like, what, and you're how, 26 or something? Like, what advice are you really giving people? Are you talking to the younger group of people? Because what he's saying is so ignorant. It's not even funny. Part of what he said, the first half made sense. Second half, throw it out. Like, just get rid of it. The first part, like the part-time job part, is weird. Like, I didn't really get that, because relationships are like a full-time job. Like, you're always having to consider that other person. So that is true to me, that when you're young, I would tell my children, like, don't focus on dating. I didn't even allow them to date until they were like 16 years old, because I wanted them to focus on school, because dating is just a mind fuck. You're always worried about that person. They have control over your feelings and how you're going to feel that day. Like, if she doesn't answer your text and leaves it on red, now your whole day is messed up, and now you can't focus on the test you have to do, or you can't get up and go to work because you're so depressed about the breakup. Like, no one has time for this. In those younger years, like, you need to, if you cannot separate your emotional stuff, like, you need to really just hunker down and focus on, like, grinding, because that's when you're young. That's when you have the time. You don't have as many commitments or any at all. Like, you don't have children, wives, husbands, whatever. That's the time to really go after it and solidify your future, to build that strong foundation for that family that you want to have in the future. 20s, early 20s, it's just not that time. It's not that time. And of course, unless you want to commit and be married and go from there. Like, I mean, as long as you're building your foundation that you feel is a strong foundation, go for it. But if you're like breaking up and getting back with people, or breaking up and dating, like you're a serial monogamous person, it's too much. Like, just focus on your career and your education. Like, you're too young to be worrying about relationships like that right now. So the second part, I forgot what he said, but it was weird. Like, I didn't agree. The second part was kind of dumb. But yeah, he said, although his statement didn't appear to be a jab at his former relationship with Bailey, the video's timing made viewers think otherwise. Yeah, he's just talking. He's like, got diarrhea of the mouth. Coincidentally, the podcast episode was released on the day of his breakup announcement. Just 2 days later, DDG was the center of another post-breakup controversy. This time, he clapped back at media personality Joe Budden for weighing in on his relationship with Bailey. And now the latest development is DDG's response to an online user in one of his streams who suggested he either met someone new or is ready to date again. Before the assumption could go any further, he shut it down immediately, claiming that he is not currently dating anyone. At this point, the constant chatter from DDG deserves a bombastic side eye. It's a common courtesy for ex-partners to avoid discussing their relationship publicly after a breakup, but DDG has seemingly ignored this unwritten rule. His behavior after their separation leads some to speculate, including myself, that he's using their breakup for clout. However, as mentioned, oversharing on the internet has become the norm in this digital age. From the countless day in my life TikToks to the never-ending life updates on Instagram, scrolling on my social timeline feels more like reading a bulletin than connecting digitally with friends. I think that's what people consider to be connecting, is a lot of people out there telling people all their business. I don't think people know how to connect anymore. We're like devoid of real feelings and real values. So I don't think people know how to really connect. So they think oversharing is connecting with people, and it's just not. So there's no denying public figures have the right to privacy just like anyone else, including the status of their romantic lives. But let's be clear, there are exceptions, more so for influencers and celebrities. It's critical to understand the distinction between the two. Celebrities gain notoriety based on the popularity of their projects, which is Halle Bailey, and professional achievements, which is Halle Bailey. Influencers, which is DDG, have built a following by being an expert in a specific niche or sharing their most intimate happenings throughout their daily lives. For example, take influencer couples such as Christy Sarah and her husband Desmond Scott, or Queen Naija and her beau Clarence White. These duos, among others, have branded themselves as internet couples and garnered a significant fan base from regularly recording content that shows glimpses into their daily lives. Because their relationship is a cornerstone of their brand, influencers often feel a sense of obligation to keep their followers informed about his status, especially if the relationship ends. It also just makes sense from a business, personal, and public perception standpoint. Although celebrities' personal lives are generally considered separate from their public personas, there are many celebrities who engage with their fans by sharing too many intimate details, making it difficult for fans to respect boundaries. This is evident with the separate approaches taken by DDG and Bailey, which further highlight the complexities of navigating public breakups in the age of social media. And honestly, this is about navigating public relationships, period. Because Bailey is very private, like I would be. So I would recommend her dating or marrying someone who is not a celebrity, who's not an influencer. Like, you can't get with an influencer and then be like, I'm private, don't tell my business, because that's like, it's kind of like you walked into that. You knew that's what he does for a living, and that you're now going to become his content. It's kind of like any man that gets with Kim Kardashian. They should know they're about to be part of that family long-running reality TV show. They're going to be a part of that. They're now content, and they're about to be on a series with them, whether they like it or not. So, I mean, people say you can't help who you love. You can, and I feel like if you know this person is the very opposite of how you want to live your life, that's why a lot of relationships don't work. That's why people claim that J-Lo and Ben Affleck don't work, because he's very private and she isn't. So things like that's not balanced. And yeah, that's something you tend to notice with couples, is they typically are both private, or they're both like out there and loving that publicity, like maybe Cardi B and Offset. They seem to love the public attention. So that's something to think about when you're dating, is like, is this person going to be private like me? Like, you can kind of pick up on those things while you're dating them or whatever. Or is this person going to be just running around telling all of our business online or whatever? And that kind of stuff can definitely be a turnoff for people who are private, or people who love publicity might be turned off because their partner is not loving publicity. So when they want to create videos and do pictures and post all stuff, like their significant others probably like covering their face or like asking them, can you put an emoji over my face or a sticker or something, because I don't want people to see me or even know who I am, because I like my privacy. And people can take that what they want, what they typically do. People take it and run with it and think, oh, your partner's cheating because they don't want to be seen. No, I just don't want to be stalked, especially if I'm a woman and you don't know who's looking at that social media content, and now you've got people that are obsessed about over you or something, and you're just minding your business, and now you can't even go to the grocery store without men stopping you and saying they know you. Like, no, I didn't sign up for this. So this person is going on to say, while it's up to celebrities to stand firm in what they choose, or this article is saying, while it's up to celebrities to stand firm in what they choose to share with the public, at the end of the day, they don't owe us anything, and we shouldn't expect them to either. The decision of how to handle a breakup is a personal one, and there is no one size fits all solution. And yeah, it definitely is about boundaries. This is a great article. It's definitely about boundaries and people just not understanding empathy. Like, they don't understand, like, if that, like, some people are so desperate to be popular or famous that they do project. They do think, oh, if that was me, I'd be telling everyone. But everyone's not you. Everyone's not thirsty for attention. So you just because you want this doesn't mean someone else does. And that's an issue we have as humans in America, especially, is we don't have a lot of empathy for people. We don't try to really understand that we're all different, thank God. And we don't respect people's differences. And it's weird because we're in a country that's extremely diverse. So you would think if anyone would be able to respect differences, it would be Americans, but we're like the complete opposite. And it seems like as time goes on and we have people like Donald Trump promoting, just very prejudiced, discriminatory views about different cultures, ethnicities, races, genders, etc., like that, him and his group of cronies, like, it's like we just keep going further and further backwards in how we see people, how we see each other. And I've always been one of those people that want to learn about the differences of cultures and people, and respecting those differences, like really having an appreciation for them and respecting them. So it's like, I don't have to understand why you don't want something said about you, or why you don't want to be called a certain name or whatever, because I don't know your culture. I don't have to understand it, but if you tell me you don't like it, then I just won't do it. Like, it's really not, it's not that big of a deal. But some people will fight you tooth and nail to call you the N-word or something, or to say the N-word, when so many black people have told them, I don't like the N-word. My whole family is black and we don't say the N-word. Like, we know what the connotation is behind that word, and we don't like it. And I will never forget, and I will never let it go. And that word will never mean something different to me. I don't care how many different meanings people come up with out their ass. It means to me and my family what it means. It means to me what it means. And I've done my research. It means what it means to me. And so you can ask people not to say it, and then people are like fighting you. And it's like, okay, well, if you say it, I'm going to match your energy and call you slurs. So we're just going to be calling each other, ridiculously, in, what do you call it, disrespectful names together. We're going to both be impolite and disrespectful and inconsiderate together, because I like to match energy. So let me know what you all think about this story with Halle Bailey. I'm glad she spoke out. And if I was her, that would be all I would be saying about this relationship. Like, I wouldn't really care to tell people about it, because it's not anyone's business. It's just not. Like, I remember when I broke up with my ex, I didn't change my status for like the longest time. I don't think I even had status on there for like the longest either, because I'm very private, and I wasn't really posting anything about us either. So it wasn't like it's just like, you're just private. You're private. I'm not identified by a male. I'm not identified by my relationships. I'm Samantha through and through. So what I share can just be me, or it could be my children to me. It could be my relationship. Like, it's going to vary. It could be just things I'm actively working on, different projects, being an activist, whatever. And that's what I feel like doing. And that's what I'm going to do. Even though I know people may want to see other things, that's their problem. I'm not going to necessarily always be like, oh, you want to see more pictures of my kids? Let me post more pictures. Like, I'm not doing that. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm just not going to do it. So I think that all women should really take a page out of my book and Halle Bailey's book and Beyonce's book and learn to be comfortable with saying no and not sharing things that you don't want to share. I've had something a long time ago where I tell myself when I was in relationships, like, do only what you feel comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable, just say no. You know, because I was a people pleaser for a very long time, like a lot of women, and there's even men who are people pleasers and children who are people. And people pleasing just doesn't do the things you think it's going to do. People take advantage and they can harm you, and you can put yourself in some very sketchy, scary situations when you're trying to please people, because people will usually go the dark route if they're given an option. So they're usually going to take advantage of something if they can. And that's sad to say. I wish it wasn't the case. I used to think it wasn't. I felt like, oh, people basically have good in them. I'm now feeling like that's the opposite. The direction of what our society is going, I do feel like it's the opposite now. I used to think people the best of people, and that people mostly wanted to be good to each other, and I don't feel that way anymore. So, you know, you all can weigh in, of course, because I'm making a video about it, but we can talk about privacy and respecting people's choices in life, and stop, you know, in pushing your agenda or your choices onto other people, but then wanting people to respect your choice. That's not the norm. You know, like, it's like you want your stuff to be normal, but you want to talk crap about other people. And the weird thing is the majority of Black women anyway are single mothers. So we actually are the norm. That's the weird thing, is like we are the norm because we are the majority and this is what's happening. But yet people will make us seem like we're strange and we're a minority or something when it's actually the opposite. But then they'll try to spin their narrative of being like childless or whatever they're doing, that's the norm, when it's really not. It's you're the minority. You're the smaller group of subset group that is happening there that isn't normal. Because most people do want children. Most people have children. Most people want children, whether they have them or can't have them or whatever. So to me, when you're not the norm and you want people to respect you, you could start with the honey versus the vinegar. You get more bees with honey. And then just ask people to respectfully respect your choice to not have children. It's really that simple. And the people who are rude about it, be rude with them. Don't be rude with everybody who has never said anything about it to you. I can't stand when people take stuff out on everybody who doesn't even know you from Adam, never thought about you. It's just weird. It's like, just because one man cheated on you, you don't get to be mean to all men. Or just because one woman said something mean to you back in 3rd grade when she was a girl, doesn't mean be mean to all women and girls. It's just stupid. It's like, everyone is not a monolith. We're all different people. Why are you punishing other people for stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them? And then you try to hide your hand, throw your rock and hide your hand when people respond back, you know, as they should. They respond back to defend themselves, because it's like, whoa, you're attacking me. I don't even know you. I've never seen anything about you. And I'm going to defend myself. That's every human right. That's every species, every right for anything that's living. We all have built-in defense mechanisms. And so don't be crying in your milk or looking crazy when people respond to you and in defense of themselves, because you started it. I mean, that's really just the gist of it. If you don't want people to say stuff mean to you, don't say stuff about them. You can address that one person and be like, this person says such and such and they're an a-hole or whatever. But there's an entire movement at this point that bashes single mothers, and especially Black single mothers. And I didn't know there was a movement telling people to have kids, especially not in America. America hates kids, and they hate pregnant women, and they hate women, and they hate maternity, which is why we don't have maternity leave. They hate everything about family and reproducing and all of that. America's super weird. They're super weird. We love to pretend that we're conservative around sex, but yet sex sells. We're like a walking contradiction. A constant walk. The thing about America is America loves to benefit off of who they consider to be inferior, but they don't want to ever give credit to that quote unquote inferior group. So they love to humble the group that they are depending on for their very survival. They love to keep you humble so you don't really know your real worth. So they don't have to ever give you credit or pay you what you're worth. So they're constantly putting down the very group that they need to survive. That's the American way. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate all my subscribers, the day ones and the new subscribers. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.